Damn.
Okay, please have your number. Just please, 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 please.
How you doing?
Okay, fine, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you tired of feeling awkward and rejected every time you go up and approach a girl? Maybe you haven't approached a girl before, but you want to be able to learn how to confidently be able to go up and just do it like that without overthinking it, right? In this video, I'm going to tell you guys how you can do that, and I'm also going to tell you guys the mistakes that I've made in my past when it came to rejecting girls. And guys, I've rejected girls myself in the past, but I've also made tons of mistakes. I've approached over 1,000 girls before, and I know exactly what you guys can do to decrease your chances of getting rejected by girls, okay? So if that sounds good to you, stay tuned. Take out a pen and paper because it's going to get real interesting real fast. So in that clip that I just showed you, right, I realize I'm being over the top in it, right? I realize that, you know, by me acting like this character, right, pleading for a girl's number and, you know, just being too needy and desperate, it's coming off as over the top. I get it, right? But a lot of guys make that mistake, right, of just being too available, too needy, and too direct, right? So, let's take it back. This video is going to be straight off the cuff, right? No fancy B-roll or texts added to the video. It's not going to be heavily edited. I put out a YouTube community poll, and a lot of you guys just said you wanted to have an unedited video, right, of me talking to the camera, going over some mistakes that I've made in the past, so you guys can save yourself gray hairs and a lot of wasted time, okay? Because you guys are probably making a lot of these same mistakes that I was making. So I'm going to be going over all of that in this video, so make sure to subscribe to improve your dating life, right? And let me know in the comments if you guys prefer this style of video. So mistake number one I made was being the stand-up comedian, right? I was always very good at making a girl laugh, and still am. However, I realized that I was coming off as this dancing monkey in my interactions with girls, right? Girls, a lot of times, would say, I can't tell if you're being serious or not, right? And that's okay every now and then, but they would say that all the time, right? Because it was almost like I was trying too hard to make her laugh, and she can sense that. Guys, girls are very good at reading body language, right? They're very good socially. So when you're trying too hard to make her laugh, she's not going to take you seriously, right? It's almost like you're insecure because you're trying to hide your true self, right? So what I like to do now is I'll crack jokes here and there, but I'll also be serious, right? I'll open up slightly about myself to create some rapport, maybe tell her a story or tell her, you know, something that I did in my past, or, you know, what I like to do, whatever the case is, but I like to mix that in with, you know, being too funny or being too over the top, right? Keep her guessing. Another thing I used to do wrong was I would just go belt out a line, right? I see a lot of my students make this mistake. It's okay at first to have a pocketed line, or, you know, even as you start to become more intermediate and advanced in cold approaching girls, right? You can have that line in your back pocket for sure. But you want to make sure that you get the girl's attention first before you deliver it, right? So what I'll do is I'll go up to a girl and I'll say, "Excuse me, hi." And then I'll pause, right? I'll pause, and when she, oh, hi, right? Because it's going to take her a couple seconds to, you know, get out of her own head, get out of her own thoughts. Or if she's talking to a friend, it's going to take her a couple seconds to, you know, adjust, right? If you just blurt something out, she's going to be like, what? And then next thing you know, you're going to be backpedaling, right? Oh, no, I just said this. And then, you know, it's not a good look to come off that way right away, right? So get her attention first and pause. That's what you want to do. Which leads me to my next point, right? Because I just told you guys, yeah, have that line in the back pocket, it's okay. But at the same time, try not to make it come off as scripted, right? Try to make it come off as you just made it up on the spot, okay? So if I were to go up to a girl and just say, you know, the classic line that I tell a lot of guys, right? The line that I think is perfect for beginners, which is, excuse me, I thought you were cute, so I had to come up and say hi, right? You can deliver that in two different ways. You can go up and say, excuse me, hi, I thought you were cute, and I had to come up and say hi, right? Like, just by looking off, you know, that's you trying to remember that line, and she's going to already be put off by that, right? She's going to think, okay, well, here we go, right? Oh, God. Another canned opener. This guy's reading off his script. You don't want to come off as inauthentic, right? Make it seem like you're just coming up with it on the spot. Excuse me. Hi. I know this is random, but I thought you were pretty, so I had to come up and say hi. Kelvin, nice to meet you, right? You want to make it come off as authentic. Do not make it come off as you're reading off of a script, okay? What else? So, a mistake that I would make quite a bit, where else can we, I could make a whole video on this. Or I mean a whole like 3-hour video on this, but I'm just coming up with, you know, the most common mistakes, right? The most common mistakes that I've made before. And guys, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, right? Of me going over personal mistakes that I've made before in the past. Another mistake that I would make is being kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out when, you know, I'm talking to the girl, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So you go up and approach a girl, you're speaking to her, right? You're not dialed in necessarily. You're not present, right? You're talking to her, but you're also looking around like, oh, is she really, you know, liking it? Maybe I should just leave, right? Make sure you commit to the interaction, okay? You go up and approach a girl, you're there, you're present, nothing else around you exists anymore. You're not thinking about, oh, this could go wrong, right? Because the two things that could happen, self-doubt and negativity, can invade your thoughts, and that is pure poison. Do not let that happen, because the second you do, it's a sinking ship. Right? It's a sinking ship, and you want to avoid that at all costs. Okay? Another mistake I would make is I would hang around for too long, right? The girl would be laughing, the girl would be enjoying the conversation, but it's not necessarily leading anywhere, right? You want to leave on a high note. So when you approach a girl, you should be thinking two things about closing, right? Am I going to take a girl on an Insta date, right? If I meet a girl on the street, if I'm not doing anything personally, if I have time to kill, and she's not doing anything, right? She says something like, oh, you know what? Like, I just finished an exam. Now I'm just enjoying the weather, right? That's your chance to take her on that Insta date, right? You can say something like, oh, cool. Well, we can go celebrate together. You know, I just did my exams last week. Let's go grab a drink, right? Whatever the case is. Or, oh, well, you know what? I'm pretty tired myself. I was studying all night. Let's go grab coffee right now. You know, I have half an hour before I have to meet up with a friend. Bottom line is you want to be leading that interaction somewhere, right? And if you're both not doing anything at that moment, then why not, right? A lot of guys, they hang around for too long and they talk to the girl, and she's wondering the whole time, like, okay, well, you know what? This guy's cool, but like, how long am I going to have to talk to this guy, right? So that's where the false time constraint comes into play. So if you see a girl that's kind of hurrying, right? She's walking really quick. You can say, excuse me, I only have like 2 minutes. I have to go meet up with a friend, right? This is already going to put her kind of ease her, right? Because she's not going to be thinking, okay, how long is this guy going to be talking to me, right? But let's say you have something to do. Let's say she says that, you know, she's late for work or whatever the case is. You have limited time. So you want to close on a high note. So when she laughs at one of your jokes, or when you guys really find that you're bonding, or you're, you know, finding common ground, you could say, hey, listen, I got to get going. I'm going to grab your number and we'll go for coffee next week, right? You want to be the one to pull the chute. You don't want her to say, well, I got to get going now, right? And then you've just hung around for that long. So you end on a high note. Like I said, grab her number and go, okay? So, now that you guys know what mistakes to avoid, I hope that you guys have a little extra spring in your step, right? Because I've just saved you years of frustration and gray hairs. God, if I made these mistakes a lot sooner, my results would have been a lot better. But I'm thankful for making these mistakes, and I hope that you guys can learn from them. But the question is, what do you say to start the conversation, right? That's a big part of it. I've made you guys a video. Here are 8 things that you can say to a girl today to get the conversation going. And guys, that video will really get you some resolve.